Hello?
No, was it the first page? I'll give you one.
Oh, thank you.
All right, everybody get started?
You got it.
Are we on, Jack?
Mary. Wait. It should.
Oh, yes.
We on?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, everybody, we're going to come to order. Thank you so much. Welcome to the August 27th, 2025 work session of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glen Rock. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was noticed in the Bergen Record and Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, posted on the borough website, and has remained continuously posted as per the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Here.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Here.
Councilmember Orley?
Here.
Councilmember Call?
Here.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Here.
Councilmember Rosenstoll?
He's on his way.
Okay. All right, so we have a lineup of agenda items for this evening. And I'll start with the garage sale ordinance. So I put this on for discussion, and I'm going to walk everybody through. The reason this is on for discussion, we talked about this probably 18 months or 2 years ago, we had a complaint by a resident of somebody who was having perpetual garage sales. And when we looked at the ordinance, there was really no way to enforce it. We had no process to capture the information, and we had no way to actually say, who says that they're having more than the prescribed number allowed for in the current ordinance, because we have an ordinance on garage sales. There was no way to do that. So we talked about, in a different iteration of this council, what we would do. And we said that, you know, one way to do it is to track, have a nominal fee, $10 a, you know, for a permit for a garage sale. We wouldn't change the number of garage sales. It's 2 in the beginning of the year, 2 in the end of the year. Beginning meaning January to June, and then July to December. We keep the same hours, 9 to 6. And the only other thing that's in this that is a little bit different is that I felt it was important to acknowledge the advent of Facebook Marketplace and other mechanisms where people are selling things through e-commerce online. Because it, you know, otherwise it didn't really exclude that. And, you know, we have a very active Buy Nothing group in Glen Rock, and we're not intending to diminish any of those activities. Anything that doesn't end up in a landfill is wonderful. And the other thing we made sure that we did in this draft was to exclude the townwide garage sale from any of this. So anything that we did broadly would not require this, but it was a way to deal with enforcement. So I had already sent this out, and what I should have done, which I did not, was just highlight what was different from the old ordinance. But if you go to the ordinance, which is 154.7, if you go to that in your E-code, you will easily see what the differences are. As I said, it's primarily the $10 permit amount, the addition of provisions for what has evolved in the modern world, Facebook Marketplace, Buy Nothing. And the only other thing which is different is sort of enforcement. Now, I have in this version that it would be the code official to do it, and the police. The police really are in the original one. They're not really enthusiastic about enforcing this. I wanted to include them because a lot of garage sales happen on the weekends when borough employees are not here. So this is not on for any reading tonight. This is to try and catch this group up with the conversations that happened quite some time ago, and then take it from there so we can, you know, either at the next meeting or at the second meeting in September, consider updating our ordinance with these things that make it enforceable. You know, one of the things that's problematic is having ordinances on the book that are in fact not enforceable. That's a real challenge for us, because they mean nothing, right? They're there, but you can't do anything about them.
And I think that's important to note, Council President, that it's not really a difference as to making it more difficult, reducing the number, any kind of, it's really can we have a nominal fee and a permit process so that we can make sure that people comply with it. It's really just about enforcing what's already in practice.
And one of the other open-ended things in here, thank you, because that's super helpful for clarification, is that I have in here something about you could come in for a permit or you could do it online, but I have that in my notes as something we have to check because we had some functionality upgrades with SDL, right, that we can, you know, possibly do that online, which is really better for our residents. I didn't check on that yet.
I'm pretty sure.
I have this vague recollection that that was something that was possible, but we want to make sure that that was in fact doable, because, you know, lots of folks really like to go on. They don't want to come in. They want to go online and get things done
And now
like that.
SDL, I know, has the capabilities for the credit cards, like online payments.
I'd like to explore, I think it's great that we're updating this ordinance. I had made this comment about a year and a half or 2 years ago. I am all in favor of this, except I would prefer it to be a registration, which I think is very important. That's the main component of this. I see no need for a fee, especially if people are up, you know, they can do it online, it goes into the computer system. I don't see any, it doesn't make any sense. And I hate the feeling of nickel and diming people. It just, like the permits for construction, those fees, they make a lot of sense, but something like this, a garage sale, it's casual, something, I think the registration, so we can keep
And
tabs
I-
on how many
yeah.
times,
It's,
because
yeah,
there are
this is
some
not, this is not a,
individual-
this is not a money making,
Right,
it's like,
so that's-
so if we can do SDL registrations without fees, I could really, like, I don't,
Yeah, I just think
It
that
was-
there's no
you know,
real
but
rationale
that
for
was-
it, especially if there's no
it's-
real administrative costs involved. We can do it online.
yeah.
And then the other thing is, the original ordinance had, your first violation was a warning, and now with the first violation, they get $100 penalty. So why did we not wanna just keep it at a warning for the first violation?
Anything's up for discussion.
Yeah,
It's-
I
it's
would
just-
agree with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
what
it's
we-
also not in excess of 100 for the first, so it wouldn't preclude us from giving a
Right.
warning.
Right, it's only
Right.
the third violation that says at least $100 fine.
Mhm.
Until the third violation, you don't have to get anything.
Yeah, but who's gonna make that decision? Not in excess of 100, so for some people it could be 20, for some people it could be
Yeah,
50.
I agree.
Who's
So
gonna
I think that
make
needs
that
to be
determination?
clarified.
So do we wanna return to warning for the first one?
I think
I
warning
prefer
is
that.
a better way to start.
Okay.
Most, there's a very few parties in our town that.
Yep. I understand.
Well, and should we have a set amount for the second and third violations? Because it's true, like, I wouldn't want, I don't know whose discussion it would be, and I wouldn't want it to be different for different people, or, right? It should be a set.
Mhm. Agreed.
Yeah, I think that was more carrying over, some of the language that was previously in there. Again, on the, thought of being more of a scalpel, right, and not, but, yeah.
So should it maybe be a warning for the first violation and then $100 for each subsequent violation?
Well, so, I mean, I could see the point of increasing it only because if you are having, so it seems like there are maybe only a handful or less, but, residents who are sort of doing this as like a sideline, if you're gonna make more than $100, if, you know, if it's just always $100, do just take fun. So I could see the point of having a progressive after, like, a third offense, like, you really know that you're supposed to, you've already had, so that means you've had 4 garage sales plus 3 that you weren't supposed to. Because, so I mean, who's really having, if you're not doing it almost as like a home-based business, who's having garage sales, 7 garage sales in a year? Maybe I should, I would definitely.
I think it's awesome. I think it does happen.
Right, but I mean, it's not gonna be the average resident. It's-
You know, I think it's really just making it that we can track it and enforce it. You know, it's really, so I'm good with the warning on the first one. I'm good with like leaving it not variable, cause that is a little confusing. So what do we think? Warning 100, and then after that, you're what? 250? You're,
100 for the second violation,
And then
250 for the third.
And then if it keeps going, it just is 250 each time.
Yeah, third or more.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And we should, you know, for an ordinance like this, once it passes, it might behoove us to get the word out to the public on this particular ordinance, that there is a change.
there's a change.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely, cause
because-
that's,
because
people
people have
aren't
to
reading it,
yeah,
right?
no.
I mean,
Yeah.
who sits around reading E-code?
Right, so
Not
we
me.
could say, we should definitely let them know that there's.
We
a
can ask
registration
Ashley
for
to do a
garage sales.
Facebook.
Yeah, and we'll put it on the Friday blast
Yeah.
and,
Email blast,
and
website.
maybe on the website landing page, you know, new garage sale registration.
Yep.
something like that.
So with these changes, are you all comfortable to put it on for first reading for the first meeting in September?
I think so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Number two, this is also for folks who haven't been around on this before. We have the personnel manual update. So our insurance party, JIF, the Joint Insurance Fund, every 2 years, they come out with updates to personnel policies that are recommended, right? You know, that you would update your manual. It was either 2 years ago or 4 years ago, we've done this now several times, they had a huge volume of updates, which we did, you know, and that's what is posted for our employees. This go round, the updates were not extensive. They fit on one page. And you all received from Lenora a copy of the manual with the changes highlighted. As I said, it was a very, a nominal number of changes. Lenora, Jackie, Jill, Maureen, and I actually got through them in the manual in an hour, which the last time we had this huge volume, we had weeks and weeks of multi-hour meetings, because it was a huge undertaking.
And I think it's important to note that we created a policy and procedures manual,
Yep.
which is a fully disclosed manual packet. And from there, we extracted an employee handbook.
Yep.
And from there, we extracted a volunteer handbook.
Yep.
So that we're covering not only our employees, but we're covering our employees, our mayor and council, and, and our volunteers. So, one is like a flip note version of the manual, but everything is clearly defined.
And employees have to acknowledge receipt of the entire handbook, and that comes through the payroll system, so they get to acknowledge receipt of it. Okay? So it's not, the purpose of tonight is to give everybody who might not have it the background on what this big package is that they got to look at. And the idea is that there would be a resolution for the first meeting in September, you know, and that gives folks to look at it and ask questions. And I said, this go-round was very straightforward, but we're obligated to pass a resolution to incorporate everything. Okay, Jackie, do you wanna add anything to that?
Thanks.
No, Lenore, anything else
About the manual,
about the manual?
were there any questions?
Okay. The next item on the agenda,
There'll be a resolution
On for
other
Sep-
than,
for September 10th.
yeah.
Yes. That's what, so everybody has, they got it already, everybody has the time between now and the next meeting.
And I also think it's important to note that, over the next couple of weeks, Jackie will send out the required training that the council's required to do, protecting children. And, you know, we always like to, throw in there workplace harassment, no tolerance
Yeah.
policy, training. So, again, all employees have to do that every 2 years. So I think that we should just round it all out and
Yep.
check the
Training's
box
done.
and,
Absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
never too much training. So I think it's good, because we do have quite a few new members,
Yeah.
and I'm sure members that have taken the training lots of times. So, it's just,
And-
it's
And
just
with, you know,
important.
protecting children is so critical, because it's really looking for signs and seeing what's on, but besides being so critically important for protecting children, it is a law that will never leave you. So you could be retired in Arizona, and if you were on the council at the time that there was, God forbid, an incident, you haven't escaped because you're not on council anymore. So it's really important to pay attention to it, because it does live with you forever, so, okay?
And don't think that there haven't been cases through the gym. Because as a board member and as a safety committee chair,
You see it all,
I've seen more than I'd care to.
yeah.
And again, there's never enough training, and it's sometimes, a pain, but, you know, every 2 years is really not a lot to ask, so.
Right. Okay. Everybody good with that? Okay. All right, so the next item up is E-code update. So it's on here, I want to give everybody background, and then, so we engaged, a few years ago now, we engaged a firm called General Code to go through our entire E-code, the whole thing. The purpose of that was to look at things that might be outdated, not from the boroughs, like, oh, we think you should change this, right? It's more, if there was a reference in there to a state law that might have become outdated, they would capture that. If there was a difference in the fine levels, like we keep up with, there are state prescribed fine levels for things, maximums, if we keep up with that. If something no longer made sense, right? If something, it referenced a position in the borough, right, that no longer existed, that could be highlighted. So as we went through this, Mary Barchetto and I went through this in great detail. We spent many, many hours going through it. We also had our borough attorney, not Jen, our previous borough attorney, their firm also went through all of these items that were questions relative to connections to state laws, right? So we don't repeat state laws generally in our local code, but there are times where we reference it, and we still have to make sure the references are accurate. So we have, I did not bring it with me, we have a stack of changes that are with E-code, and what will happen is everybody will get the changes to pass in one fell swoop. Now I want to be very clear, there is nothing in these changes that change the spirit or the actual, like what we do. Like, we didn't look at this and go, you know, I never liked this ordinance, you know, I'm gonna sneak it in, I'm gonna change it, right? And then just put it in here, who's gonna know, right? This is all very technical, administrative reviews. Any place where we weren't sure, so one group, as an example, that reviewed it, our fire chief. Like, are these codes accurate now relative to this? We had fire prevention looked at it. Is this accurate? There were pieces of it that went to the Glen Police Department, to Chief Ackerman. You know, is this accurate, right? Is there something in here? And one of the things that we also did, which if you are a regular reader of the E-code, you might notice that in some ordinances, there's a fee or something embedded in that ordinance. Well, we have an ordinance that deals with all the fees. So we said, let's take these and put them in the fee ordinance so that you don't have to dig and hunt and peck for these related fees. So we pulled them into 101, right, the fee ordinance, and said, let's capture them in here, because that's not a change, it's just tidier, right? And it makes it
That's more
easier.
logical.
It makes it easier for residents, right? You don't see a fee, does that mean there's no fee, or do you have to go, you know, on an expedition to try and figure out what it is? So we tried to tidy up and make these things, you know. Everything then gets sent back to general code. If it didn't make sense to them, they would ask a question. But the idea is that we do this, we are then ready to rock and roll with general code to have all of the ordinances that, if you look at our E-code right now, you got a lot of new stuff hanging out on the left, and you have to sort of navigate. This will then codify everything that we did, everything that has been passed since we started this, because we really had to stop updating the E-code. We couldn't do half and half. And so once they updated, we have a clean slate, we're starting from, you know, everything's been updated. So does that, would you add anything else to that description? And does that make sense to everybody, what the purpose was?
Absolutely,
That's
update the E-code, of course.
It's
Makes
housekeeping.
total sense.
It's housekeeping, it was a,
And it's-
it was big, it was,
huge
It's
investment.
it's important housekeeping.
it was a big
Right.
room, but,
And it's gone back and forth between us and general code, and they have a law division that had made recommended changes saying our law or our statute isn't up to par
Right.
with where we are in today's standards. You know, our fees are below standard and those
The
were
fines.
some
So
of the
they
recommended
gave us choices,
changes.
leave it alone,
Right.
make this change, do something else, and so that's how we
But
work.
just to be clear, the changes were all to update so the code is current to today, to the standard, state standard or state statutes.
Or fire provision, whatever
Right, whatever, but
today's
there's
code
a,
is, today's
right,
standard
it's
is.
to, right, so
Right.
this is updating any of our ordinances that weren't current. Right, yeah.
And as I said, in the case of fees, we chose to tidy it up. We didn't change anything, but we tidied it to make it more logical. So that we could, you know, it's, as I said, it's easier for us, it's easier for residents to look at it that way. So the next thing that'll happen is you'll get a package, you're welcome to, you know, go through it, and you should kind of get a sense for what's there. And then it will be done as an ordinance would be for first and second reading. And we'll pass and then we'll all get processed. Yep,
Sounds good.
we good? Okay. Alrighty, the next thing on the agenda is the Arts Council. I see we have people from the Arts Council here, thank you. So I was approached by the Arts Council. The Arts Council would like to paint a mural on I'm gonna say one of the walls at the pool. There was one proposed and then there might be a second one, so one of the walls at the pool, so I'll just put it that way. But now again, I have to give background for those of you who have not been here for the last few years. So in 2022, we had a proposal from a resident to paint the shack at Wild Memorial. Has everybody seen it? Looks like a little gingerbread shack, right? And they came in and it was a beautiful design, and they came in and we said, oh, hang on, can we really just allow one resident to make this painting, like to do this? What if somebody else says, well, why wasn't I given the opportunity? So we, the borough, put it out to the community and invited anyone to make proposals. We heard crickets. So we were able to say from this one resident, you know, they painted the shack and it's lovely. So now roll the tape forward, and that's just background because we always wanna have fairness, right? We don't wanna exclude anyone. So the Arts Council would like to do a mural. So I spoke with Mona Milbrot. We had a really great conversation. I still think we should put it out to the community and ask anybody who wants to, you know, participate. But I am also very comfortable, and I'll continue on my statements here, like having the Arts Council manage it. Like if we said in the borough, you know, blast and advertisements, you know, we're going to paint this mural, here's where it's gonna be. The Arts Council is gonna manage, you know, taking applications and seeing what people's proposals are and vetting it, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you know, but the council, because it's a borough property, would have approval of the final design, right? And the thing that's sometimes hard, because we all have many opinions, is that, you know, we would not sit here as a council and say, we'd really like something that has pink and blue flowers. Can y'all do that, right? Because we're not the artists. Maybe some of us are artists, but we're not all the artists, right? We might have ideas, but this is sort of an artistic endeavor that we would be able to say, you know, this doesn't feel right. You know, we can say, we want something that would stand the test of time. We want something that will be vibrant at the pool, it's, you know, the summertime. The other part of this is that there is, you know, the idea, I talked with Mona about a maintenance clause. So what do I mean by that? You can do one of two things, or you can actually do both things, right? You can say, if this starts to look a little sad, right, the colors fade, you know, we go back to the Arts Council and say, can you all do a refresh? Like, this is just looking a little sad, it's not what it was originally intended to be. And if the Arts Council was not around for them, or didn't wanna do it, the borough would have the right to remove it, you know, because we don't wanna leave something that doesn't look nice. Now, in speaking with our trusty borough administrator, and we only have a few more moments to have trusty conversations with the borough administrator, we were a little bit, starting to think about, do we really wanna put paint on brick? Because that's kind of funky. So I think we'd wanna talk about, can we put it on something that is, I'll just use the word long lasting, because I don't know what that is, and affix it, so that it might also make the art more vibrant, because we're not having the paint suck into the brick, et cetera. So I am putting out suggestions from my conversation, based on my shack experience, and based on, speaking with Mona, doing something that is lovely. These kinds of things, for those of you who don't know, are pretty common in other boroughs where they have an arts council, et cetera. And the other thing I should mention is that the Arts Council will be applying for a county grant to give them the funding to do this. There's money available for not-for-profits right now, and it's due, I know I talked with Mona, September 10th?
The letter of intent is
A letter
due
of
September
intent.
11th. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the proposal's due
Is-
in October.
In October, so they would actually be applying for a grant. And the timing, it would all be intended to be finished by May 1st. So that it would be ready for when the pool opens, it wouldn't be done, so it would be done, hopefully we'd have nice enough weather in April and the things would dry and all of that. So the question for you all today, and I have laid out what I think are good parameters. That does not mean that those are the parameters. I've just kind of put out here what I think makes sense from what I've seen with other projects in the borough. But now, discuss amongst yourselves.
So, thank you, and
Yeah.
you do such great
Did I
work,
capture
so I'm
everything?
excited.
You think?
Yes.
You did. There we go.
I just have a couple things I know that, that's all right, I can jump in first. I love the Arts Council, and I think that, I think that if we approve this project, I really, as you had said, but I wanna really back this up and enforce it, that it is their thing. They should have the authority, they are the group that, like you said, they'll vet it. I don't think the council should have any interest in what the theme is, what the this is, what the that is, nothing. I think this is their concept and their vision. And even with if they think brick, if they could do something with the brick and make it, I think they should come up with the best way they think that mural will go. If it is something, I just don't think we have the, none of us have the expertise or anything like that to be able to say one way or another what's the best way to put something on the wall.
Except once you paint brick, it's hard to go back. Unless you blast it. Anyway, that's just my
Yeah, well,
building material kind of thinking, but go ahead.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that I think if this is, I like the idea, I guess, if the Arts Council is up for that, of opening it up for ideas to the community. But if you all have your own ideas within the Arts Council that you have, I'm just not so sure I'm sworn into just making everything open up to the community. People can join the Arts Council. So, and be a part of the artistic endeavors that the community does. So I'm just not sure. I like them to have some autonomy on this project.
But I'm okay with the Arts Council doing the registration form, and it goes on our website, and everything, they're gonna manage the registration, so if somebody comes in, it's still going into their bucket.
Right, no, I
And
understand
we
that.
just,
But I'd like to
Yeah.
hear their take on that process, if you all feel that that's something that you want to do, in that, rather than us dictating how to do it, right?
Yeah, I've already gotten quite a few people interested, so just emailed to me recently, from Creates Art in Glen Rock, their students, high school students who are National Art Honor Society students, that another group of interested residents who have worked with me and the Arts Council. They're actually members of the Arts Council. They wanna have a piece of it, it's something really, I think, special to the community, and a lot of people are putting interest in. So yes, it could be that they do want to apply for getting their idea possibly put up, instead of
So you,
mine.
so you're in favor
But I'm in
of,
favor
of
of.
having, opening it up to the community too?
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. I just wanted to make sure that you all were on the
Oh, yeah,
same
yeah,
page
no,
with
we
that
are, yeah.
idea.
We don't wanna exclude anyone.
Good, okay,
Yeah.
awesome, I love it,
And
I think it's great.
Councilmember Martin, I think that we're still on board with the final design, right? You know, the Borough Council not selecting a design, but the final design before it's implemented.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I think there has to be a sign off.
Sure.
Yes.
I
For
think there
sure.
should be a sign up, if it's a borough property, I think if it's
Yes.
on. you know,
Agreed. No,
if our
totally a sign
name
up.
is gonna be running it, I think we
Yeah.
should have it.
But I don't really wanna dictate any, I think it's kind of fun to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're
then-
not to dictate any parameters other than, you know, the usual tasteful, whatever, blah, 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 the stuff that.
I highly doubt that they
I'm-
would do anything.
Well, you never know.
I mean, when we have to say, don't do anything that's not tasteful, but
Right.
tasteful is so subjective, like,
I know.
you know, like, no profanity, you know, like, there could be no profanity, there could be nothing lewd, there could be, you know, I mean, the obvious, but, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, so
There's a line
it's
of
interesting,
difference
I
with-
I can think of two public art installations that were then later removed, because they were intended in the best of intentions, but
Sure, of course.
were interpreted as, you know, unfortunate for whatever, you know, and because art is powerful, right? And it conveys a message and you know, and I'm sure it'll all be lovely, but let's do that before people spend a lot of time, you know,
Getting it
putting,
off,
you know,
exactly.
getting it done, right? Which is.
And I've had the same experience in the corporate sense. There was art that was put up and the art department was thrilled. And the impression that people got from the art, they removed it pretty quickly, you know, so it was just, it happens.
Of course
you know.
it happens.
But I think
that-
I agree with you in the sense that this is, we wanna see the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, we don't
And
wanna,
I-
we don't
and
wanna,
I
we don't
trust
wanna
the arts
stifle too much.
council to, like,
Yeah,
encourage that creativity
Maybe,
and also.
maybe have the one that you really want and you wanna show everyone and for approval, but then have a backup. Yeah, I'm sorry. In case, like what they see and then it comes to the council, it's like, oh, yeah.
So.
We can curate it.
Yeah. I'm sure you can.
So, would we have sort of a memorandum of understanding with the Arts Council? What about, I wanna be sure that we handle the maintenance clauses. I wanna be sure that we do that. That's the kind of stuff that,
Yeah, I think we can dig into that.
dig into that. Oh, sure. Are there any other elements? Cause I think we wanna then have an official proposal, like this was a discussion, have an official proposal, we have time, it gives you the ability to go out and apply for this grant, knowing that you have, I believe, the support of the council to move forward. Everybody nodding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and that we're doing that, and then we can, you know, work out the details.
Yep.
If that's,
Do we need any kind of, for the LOI for your grant, do we need any sort of resolution for the meeting on the 10th, or just a letter?
it's
to-
only
just
for,
all-
it's
it's
only
from
for
us,
not-for-profits.
so,
We
yeah.
couldn't even,
You can't apply.
we can't even apply.
It's only really
Yeah.
arts organizations that are eligible, so.
Yeah, but if you, reading this grant quickly, and I skimmed it, it was like, it had their name all over it, just in terms of.
And we've gotten money from them before, we've applied for other grants,
Oh, wonderful.
so,
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
It's
Just
great.
wanted to make sure you had what
Yeah,
I needed.
it's great.
Great.
Yeah, this sounds
Thank
like a
you.
great project, thank you for doing
Looking
it.
forward to
Thanks.
it.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Outstanding. And then I have one more thing, and I will say to everybody, because I forgot to say this at the beginning, at 7:55, this meeting will close no matter where we are, and we're going inside, so just to be clear, no matter what's going on, we go in. Okay. So the last thing I have on my list is bulk waste pickup, another really exciting topic, right? So, one of the things that, if you're out on every other Tuesday, you might notice in town, you know, people put out, and we all put out bulk waste. Who hasn't put out bulk waste? I don't know. But we do have occasions where the bulk waste is excessive. Many towns have some kind of limit on bulk waste. You know, they don't say like 1 piece, but you know, they'll have some kind of limit. Because what's happening, in my opinion, is that people are emptying a house and just not getting a dumpster. And so, who's picking up the cost of that? We all are. I didn't wanna get a dumpster, and we're all paying, because And I would like, if you could put up Exhibit A. So this is a picture from one of the bulky waste nights. Because we're not talking about just a handful of things. Can you make that big?
This was by my house, I saw it firsthand, awful.
I picked up something from the.
I think
So this, if you can make that, can you
Oh,
make that
that's
just
something
big?
too.
There we go.
Oh.
No, it doesn't wanna do it? So, you know, again, in the spirit of not trying. Hmm?
You get the picture.
You got the picture, literally?
Yeah.
So in the spirit of, you know, this is not trying to nickel and dime, right? This is saying, if you're emptying a house, if you're doing, like, we, your fellow residents, really ought not to be paying for your lack of wanting to get a dumpster, right? Or plan and put the requisite number out over some months, right? Because sometimes, in this case, DPW would pick up from this one house, and then they have to go dump. They have to go and remove all of this. So these items happen to be fairly lightweight, you know, I'm very into the garbage. They were fairly lightweight, and so the cost for the town to dump was probably the equivalent of what they would have needed in terms of a dumpster, so about $500. But sometimes people put very heavy things out, and the dumping cost could be $1,500, because it's, when we dump, it's by weight.
Us $500 or $1,500?
That's what we pay to dump. So, you know, towns around have this service. Some towns limit to 5 or 6 items. What's an item? It doesn't mean this is not an item. It's sort of the big black garbage bags or a dresser or something else. So I have nothing else written, but I wanted to take the temperature. I've talked to Bob Bono about this, and I've spoken with Amy, and this is something that we want to build in. I've looked at one of the ordinances of another town, and they actually don't specify in their ordinance the number. They leave it on a variable based on what's going on in the recycling world, what's going on in their town. Now, they've left it. I've looked at it for a few years because I happen to know this town, and they have a limit of 6 items per bulky waste. So that means 6 items a month, which again could be a dresser, a giant bag, something like that. Years ago, and it might still be there, Greg did an amazing job of putting together a list of where to send things, like how to get rid of stuff, and I might ask Greg if they'd be willing to look at that list and see if we can update it so that people have an outlet to move things along. It's gotten a little bit better with Buy Nothing and Marketplace, etc. I mean, some of this stuff was actually true trash, but that's, you know, one person's trash is another person's treasure, but a lot of this was, you know, was really trash. So what I'd like to get from this council is the feeling, would we like to say, yes, let's move forward and explore how we tighten this up a little bit, because this goes on all over town. And this is really something that is, in my opinion, taking advantage of a very generous bulky waste. And we don't leave this, like, we pick it up, you know, but as I said, it's challenging.
What do we do? Is there anything different, like in case of emergency, if somebody's house floods or?
No, because if they have, I'm assuming that they, through their insurance, have some
Like service.
clean out service that's coming in and getting a dumpster and doing that. Like, we don't, as a town, do something like that.
They'll put it out to the curb and we'll pick it up, honestly.
You know?
That's what happens.
And there are probably extenuating circumstances
Yeah,
where
exceptions.
the wheels
Right.
fall off and, you know,
Of
some
course.
horrible thing happens,
Yeah.
but.
Right.
So I'd be happy to pursue it and to, you know, crack down on things like this. I guess I'm a little concerned. I wouldn't want to become really more restrictive for the person who doesn't do bulk trash too often, but goes through their basement and gets rid of stuff. And so I don't know if 6 is the right number, or maybe more like 10. I don't, you know.
You know, what I said to
don't wanna
Bob
be
is
too
6 might not be
restrictive.
the right number, but, you know, I don't know why, but 8 felt right to me, and I don't know why. It just felt like, you know, even if you're doing a clean out, maybe you do it over 2 months, like you're not, you know.
I think we
can.
I think let's kind of do a survey of some of our, which we do all the time when we do things like this.
Yep.
Let's take a survey of towns
Other towns.
other towns around
Yep.
us and see how they manage their bulk waste. If if they have parameters on it.
Yep.
Absolutely agree, we've all seen it and.
It's been on and off the table for years.
Yeah, so I think I'm in favor of moving forward with some exploratory.
And I like the education portion of it too, if we could partner with rec to say, oh, you can, like, utilize buy nothing before putting everything you own out on the curb. Utilize these other, like, veterans associations or things that you can donate to for pickups.
Yeah,
So
correct
it's
in the
not
amazing
just
list,
like-
I just think it has to be review, like to see
Yeah.
what organizations are still doing it, you know, and refresh the list so that, you know, it's a useful list for, you know, for.
So it is
veterans.
sad to see all this like go in a landfill, and if it takes, when DPW goes around and picks up our trash, they should be able to go to each home in a more timely fashion, not be spending like a huge chunk of their
Well, the biggest
time.
thing is if they have to, if this fills the truck,
Then
and they have to go down,
back and then,
you know, besides going where they
That
have,
is filling a truck.
yeah,
There's
Yeah,
4
that is-
mattresses.
yeah.
you
I know.
there could be like I don't know how you would put it into an ordinance, but almost like a common sense, if you take somebody more than 2 minutes to clear the space in front of your house, you should
No, it has to
probably
be,
figure out something else, yeah.
It has to be specified, trust me, like, it has to be specified. So, so we're in favor of just moving forward, exploring this and, right? Okay, all right, I'm gonna go around the table, because that was my last thing, right?
It
Anything
is.
else? I just
Impressed.
never threw that. So, we'll start here and see what anybody else has.
Okay, so I have just one thing.
Mhm.
October 26th will be the Halloween parade this year. The past many years, the borough has covered the cost of the police officers who supervise and make sure everything is orderly at the parade. And so we have received a request from Wix, wanting to know whether we will do that again this year. The police department has informed me that depending on whether, I guess, Ridgewood Emergency Services, hopefully will participate and provide one officer, depending on whether they do that or not, it will be either $780 or $1,040 to cover the parade. And we had budgeted for that when we did the police budget this year, that's in there. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all still on board with covering that expense.
Definitely.
Excellent.
It's
Great.
it's like such a
Right.
tradition, yeah, for
Do
sure.
not want to interfere with the parade. All right, great, thank you, that's all I have.
Great,
No, nothing to report.
nothing?
Just for out there.
Okay.
No, I got nothing for anyone.
Got anything?
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
so, I apologize. So, for everybody here, I think you all know tonight's Lenora's last night, and we have an interim. Do you want to introduce yourself to the room?
Sure, my name is Donna Molyneux. I retired from municipal service 2 years ago, and so now I do some interim work as administrator CFO. So I'm gonna be here until a permanent person is hired, so I'm the transitional person. So.
Thank you, and we're very happy to have you here and welcome here this evening, which is great. Thank you. Yeah?
Nothing.
I'm
gonna miss my friend.
Jen?
Can't believe it. I'm gonna wanna call you tomorrow.
I'm gonna call it.
You can call her and have coffee with her, but no one is to bother Lenora. She's going to have a 100% bona fide separation as
Yeah.
required by the pension rules, so
Absolutely.
nobody bother.
All right. Should we open up to public? Yep. Okay, would you like to be first?
Thank you. Gabriel Bellaro, 512 Venus Avenue. I'm just here just to give you a courtesy report on the yellow lines situation that we had. You're familiar with it. We had a meeting with the chief and Sergeant McGovern on, was it August 20th, Joe? Joe was
Yeah,
present.
sounds
Joe was
right.
present, right? And It was a nice meeting. We presented our case once again, as you suggested, that we had to talk to the police department and the chief concerning the yellow line situation. We presented our case, they counted and presented their case, and they basically came down to they weren't gonna change their opinion as to removing the yellow lines. So I just wanted to report it to you this way. We put this at rest for now. Hopefully nothing happens and I'll have to come back. But I did want to make an observation, if you don't mind, 1 minute, I'll be quick. What I observed is that with this issue, there was a great reliance on the department heads or professionals. And I think we have to be very careful. I don't mean to be critical of you individually at all. This is just a general observation that I made that could be seen, you can take it as a constructive criticism. There's too much reliance at times on department heads, professionals, and I have to be more careful with that, because I mean, me as a person, when people run for office, I pick people that I think are intelligent, that are analytical, they're gonna represent interests for the town, and that's how I make my selection. I don't vote for the chief of police, I don't vote for the department head, I don't vote for a planning board member, you know, so we have to be more careful. We have to scrutinize the issue. Of course you take their advice, of course you listen to it, but I don't like to hear it's up to them. I don't have nothing to do with this. I don't think that's fair to the public. So I'm not criticizing anybody individually, I'm just giving a long-term resident's opinion. Now, so there will be other issues. There will be other situations where you will be faced with that same issue. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you can't just say, oh, you know, this person's a doctor, this person's a planner, this person's a whatever. I don't have to think about anything. That's not fair to the residents. The courts are full with lawsuits for malpractice against people like that. So don't think it doesn't happen. It does happen. I would not like to see it happen in our town. Thank you. Have a good summer. Lenore, congratulations. I remember you 45 years ago.
45.
Well, I don't know. I've been there 45. Anyway.
She was just a baby.
If I could, Gabe, before you go.
When did you start? When did you start?
I started in 1991.
Oh, 91, I'm sorry.
So,
I gave away my age.
Before you go,
Yes.
before you go,
All right.
listen, I got nothing to lose tonight, right? So I'm gonna just take the opportunity, and you know, I'm a big talker, not here so much, but I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you.
With what? Oh, my
With your
point?
statement.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, go right ahead.
I'm gonna say,
Go
again,
ahead. I love discussion.
yeah, right. I'm gonna say,
Okay.
I prided myself and my career on relying on professionals that the borough hires and retains
Yes.
to do their jobs.
Yes.
Because everybody has a specialty and everybody has a skill to bring to the table. Again, I'm the big facilitator, right? I kind of dip into every department, but I certainly couldn't be the police chief. I certainly couldn't run the DPW. I couldn't be the building inspector because I'm not that skilled. I rely on my professional people that we retain here, and let me tell you, we have the best people here. We only have the most qualified, quality people that work for this borough. And this borough wouldn't run the way it runs without the quality people that we have. So I appreciate that we should always be concerned and that we should always analyze the situation that we have. But if we don't rely on our professionals and the people that work in this community, we got nothing. Because they're the backbone and the heart and soul of making this borough run. And without these people, I wouldn't look so good, right? I wouldn't look, you know, and I'm half joking, but we really I have always prided myself in being a professional at what I do and trying to do the best that I can. And again, we got people
years and years, they come and they don't leave, they come and they stay, and they don't, they, you know, we're here, and the chief and his people, and, you know, people retire here with 25, 30 years of service. So I feel like, I appreciate your comments.
And I appreciate yours.
And I just had to
understand it.
throw that out there, because
I
today's the
understand
day for you to.
Wait, can
But
I
the
just make
point is
one
this.
quick
Wait a
interjection
minute,
though?
Let me just say
I-
something. You're saying that people don't make mistakes.
Absolutely not.
I just
Never
wanna
said
also
Some
say
other
that,
people ask.
wait,
Sorry?
wait,
Okay, I have something I want to ask. Let other people.
wait, Gabe,
That's all you need.
Gabe, I just wanna say too, just to piggyback a little bit on what Lenore was saying, because, and I appreciate your comments very much, but I think it's important to know that the elected officials that are involved in these things aren't just carte blanche saying, whatever they say, whatever they say. We ask a lot of questions.
Well, that's right.
And we expect our experts in our fields and our professionals to have good evidence and proof of why they're making those decisions. We don't just blanket sign off on whatever they say.
Were you here
We
for the Yellow
challenge
Line
them.
incident? Were you here for
Yes,
that?
of
You were?
course I
Okay.
was.
And you were convinced of everything you heard? You were satisfied, right?
Anyway,
I'm
that
not
one's
gonna
done.
go
I'm
into
gonna-
the
I'm gonna
specifics.
move
I
on.
was talking in
Skip.
regards of what.
I'm moving on to Skip. Skip, pay attention.
All right, good.
Can I say
All right,
something?
thank
I
you.
just called on you.
Okay, thank you so
Attention.
much. Thank you, Gabe. Have a good night. I just have two things. Skip Husking, I've lived here for 26, 27 years. I was on council for a period of time. And I have two things. One, Lenora, I want to congratulate you on your tenure. I enjoyed working with you. I found you to be professional, and in the areas that you were responsible for, I learned from you, as I did from Chief Ackerman and other people on it. So you've done a great job. I feel lucky that I came across and worked with you for those 3 years. The second thing, I know you handled two jobs, the CFO and the borough administrator. What is the plan now? Are we gonna have one person doing both like you had done all those years? Or are we gonna have two separate ones with kind of a higher level of expenses for compensation and for salaries and for benefits? So that's my second question. But again, thank you for all your service.
If you looked at the agenda tonight, you'll see a resolution to appoint, hasn't happened yet, to appoint a borough administrator. So I think that answers your question.
Just the borough administrator.
Just the borough.
That's what it
Okay.
says.
Answers the question.
Yes, it does.
Who's gonna do the other aspect of the job?
Stay tuned.
Where's the
So
CFO
for
is
now,
the-
we have hired Donna as an interim CFO and borough administrator until the borough administrator steps up, and then she'll act as CFO as we look to hire a new CFO.
Is that budgeted? Like, how is, I know that, you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Will be budgeted, but we already did the budget for this year, so how is that
Right.
affecting the budget? Because it's now 2 positions, and I believe that you guys budgeted for 1 position.
We did, and we're gonna have to figure out, right,
Oh.
we're gonna make it work, because
Oh, okay.
obviously the borough needs a CFO, and
Right, so,
to be determined.
Actually, those positions are 2 separate line items on the budget. If you look at the budget, there's the
Well,
admin and
correct.
then the CFO. And those are 2 separate line
but
items.
that was asked at one of the meetings, and they said that it was budgeted for 1. Remember, right?
No, but no, that's, I don't remember that, but that is absolutely right. If you look at the budget, as I'm sure you have, there are 2 very separate line items. One says CFO and one above says borough administrator. So they're budgeted.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth.
Anybody else have a question?
Well, I'm sorry, can I interrupt for just a second along this line? I don't know if that now is the appropriate time to ask, or if I should do it when we get into public session, or if it's in the general meeting. I think that, we should remove this resolution from the, consent agenda.
Which one?
And pull it and say it separately.
Which one? I don't know what this is.
For our interim administrator.
We talked about that, and this is a ministerial bridge. The one that's pulled from the consent agenda, even though it's a resolution, is the borough administrator.
But
Well, I'm
Council
requesting
President,
that
of
we,
course,
I am requesting that.
You
we-
can ask, you can have it pulled out. We talked about it, and to me, this is a ministerial change. This is a bridge.
Yeah,
This is not,
I would second that.
I would
think it
say
should be
that
pulled
this
in
is
separate.
not
You can pull
only,
it and read it separately.
it
I
is
just-
not routine, and it is not non-controversial, so I don't think it belongs on the consent agenda.
okay. But I view it as, we can pull it easily. I view it as ministerial.
Can
And it's a
we
bridge.
talk about, should we talk about it now, or should we wait until we get in there? People want clarification on the date of hire, because this is a retroactive resolution that we're passing tonight. But the language isn't in there for it being retroactive, so I don't know what date did Ms. Milano start.
Well, so the date, the date of, that she started is in there. It doesn't say the word retroactive, but issue.
So it says she started 4/19.
8/19.
Oh, so 8/19. Is that a typo?
Yeah, no, because as we discussed previously with governing body, there was a need for an overlap
Mhm.
with the timing of our meetings and the timing of Ms. Benjamin's last day.
Mhm.
If we'd had an interim start tomorrow and they'd had no opportunity to speak with Ms. Benjamin, that really wouldn't have worked. That's why we had discussed with the governing body in advance that there would be a need for an interim and a need for a certain amount of overlap.
Right, and I totally agree with that, but I think that it's just raising a lot of eyebrows and concern in the public that they weren't notified that she was starting on the 19th.
Who wasn't notified?
The public, in general.
Residents.
Residents. That an interim borough administrator was starting on the 19th, because many people were asking that question.
So we can go back and look. I'm not sure how much detail we went into at the last public meeting. We did speak about at the last public meeting, because I remember very specifically us wanting to give people sort of a preview. Ms. Benjamin's last meeting is coming up. You know, there will be an interim. That appointment has not yet been selected because we have not had an opportunity to discuss that in closed, right? The only time we can discuss personnel is in closed and a properly noticed public meeting. And that, so we did say there will be an interim that would be voted upon this evening. We talked about that at this table in the public meeting. I don't remember if we said, I remember that we did discuss, at least to the governing body, that there would be a necessarily overlap period. I'm not sure if we said it.
Why wouldn't you just do-
I'm sorry, I'm speaking then. If there's a, I'm not sure if we specified the overlap at the
We definitely didn't,
meeting.
because-
Definitely did. We said
No.
there would be a week at least,
We did.
not two.
Not
Maybe
in a
we didn't
public
do it in
meeting.
open, but we did
No.
it in.
No.
Yeah, that's not the
Yes.
thing we talk about.
Also, the interim is, we wanted the interim to kind of shadow Lenora during the time when she was still hired. Lenora is still the borough administrator.
Yeah, until the end of
The
the year.
the interim really is starting as the full interim after Lenora's not here. So I think that it's a little bit of semantics, but, and we only have one meeting in August and one meeting in July, so hence, this resolution is for the August meeting, and she started because we wanted to have
Yeah,
her shadow.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
So
What
I
I'm
just-
saying is
I
if
think
this
it's
is
a little bit semantic.
not non-controversial, and it is not routine, and I just think that it should be pulled from the consent agenda, because, I mean, clearly, it's a little.
That's easy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's easy. We can pull it and read it separately.
Why wouldn't you just use the word retroactively?
That, well, yeah, so I mean, I think the word retroactive is to be there.
It doesn't have to be, but if you'd like to put it in there, that's totally fine.
But it
I'm
is
sorry, I
mean,
haven't
it-
had a chance to read it. I
it's
don't
spe-
think we
it's-
wanna start rewriting the resolution.
No, but I mean, it specifies the date starting on 8/19. If we would like to say retroactively to 8/19, we can certainly make that
Because
change.
we're not passing the resolution until tonight, which is 8/27.
that's why it's obvious
But
that
that's
it's
why we made the
retroactive.
motion and discussed it and closed at the last meeting.
No, but I mean, if we wanna insert the word retroactive, that will give people some peace, there's no problem.
Yeah.
The dates,
Can I
the
see the
substance
resolution?
is unchanged.
It's, it doesn't change anything.
it assuages concerns, why not?
Right. Yeah,
But
it's
we didn't
just
have the
about-
person before, the person sitting here now, I think it's pretty obvious, but we can pull it out and we can add the word.
I think it's just about making residents aware of what's going on and being transparent and having them feel like.
It is transparent in the time in which it can be made public, and I think that's the important thing to understand. A lot goes on that is not made public because it is not the appropriate time. Decisions may not be made. Things have to be taken care of, I's dotted, T's crossed.
Well, and
so
especially
everything
in
doesn't get
this-
to be, vetted and shared before it's time.
Especially in this
That's-
process where we have looked to hire someone and have someone very good, who we were very comfortable with, in time before Lenora left, and these things take time. We only have one meeting a month in the summer, and so we have tried to be as transparent as we can be. But honestly, also tried to do as good a job as we could with hiring someone and making sure everything was in place, so.
So pull it and write
certainly there's been no
retroactive, it
attempt
doesn't matter,
to not
because the
be
dates are in
transparent.
there,
Yeah.
which to the reader, it's pretty obvious. So anyway, okay.
It's not a major, in my opinion, it's not a major point.
No.
It's,
Anybody else have a question?
Oh,
or
when
comment.
are we allowed to raise the topic?
Yeah, of course.
Right, that's good.
Yeah,
This
of
is
course.
public, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Robin Frisell, 148 Cornwall Road. I got this letter a few weeks ago from the 3 Democrats running, which is fine, telling me that somebody reported my property about the sidewalks, which I was pretty much in shock because my sidewalks are pretty good, especially compared to a lot of other people in my neighborhood. So, and then today I got the inspector's report with, that I have to replace 6 sidewalk slabs, which I thought maybe 2 at most. I had to replace sidewalk slabs a few years ago when a tree fell, one of my trees, well, actually it was a town tree, fell onto the street, which that's another subject. Like maybe the town should have to pay to replace the sidewalks if it's a town tree, that's another issue. But it cost me $1,000 for 3 slabs, and that was actually a good price. If I need to replace these because somebody thinks they're against the law, I'm fine with that, except that I think every single home in this town needs to be inspected. It shouldn't just be because somebody happened to report my property. On my way here, I stopped, I live on Cornwall, and it's some very shaded streets with a lot of big trees, and the slabs come up. I stopped at a couple of houses very easily. I found some that are like, this far. I took pictures. I didn't see any orange circles on those sidewalks. So I'm okay with it if it's for the safety of everybody in town. Some people, it might be a hardship for. Thank God I can afford it if I have to. But I think we can all agree that in fairness to everybody, every home should be inspected. Okay, and then just one other thing, I just want to go back to the point about with the trash. My mother died 4 years ago, had a big split level in Fairlawn. 60 years she was there. I donated everything, and that was during COVID when people wouldn't come into the house.
Right.
The Salvation Army wouldn't come into the house. I found organizations that took everything except for 1 couch and 1 chair. And the vets, oh my God, they'll take 25 boxes at a time.
Yeah.
So I scheduled them for 2 days in a row. I ended up having an estate sale, but there is no reason. The other night, I went around, I saw beautiful things being just at the curb. It's not even a question of how much, but things that people were throwing out. I donate to the community thrift shop in Midland Park. And I was able to get the Glen Jewish Center, I'm a member there, on the list of one of their organizations that gets, benefits from donations. I went around, I picked up in 5 minutes, I picked up things. On Monday, I brought them over to the thrift shop. I was like, what is wrong with people that they don't know that they can donate to organizations
And
like this? So
I'm sorry for your loss and I applaud your efforts, because that is the thing, keeping things out of landfills, because there's somebody somewhere who can use it.
Absolutely, it's like a
That's great.
win-win-win, and
Yeah.
then when you just told me $500 just for 1 house, or $1,500 for 1 house, that's nuts. And I don't wanna be paying for that. And I think when you send out your weekly newsletter,
especially when you talk about bulk day, when it's a week for bulk week, say, reminder to all residents, you can donate to, and they don't even have to go anywhere, the vets will come right to your house and pick up almost anything in usable condition, you know? So, so that's why.
Thank you for your comment.
Sure, thank you. Oh, and I just want, when I asked a neighbor of mine if he had gotten anything with this, with the sidewalks, he said in Ridgewood, they're doing shaving. I don't know what that means. Is
Yeah,
that-
you know, I know you're here tonight, you've missed about 3 months of sidewalk gate. So, you know, if you'd like to talk to Amy or anybody else about the sidewalks, we've been talking about this for months, so.
We do that.
Yeah, I'm not diminishing your comments, I'm just saying, we have been talking about this
Oh,
for a while.
and also, if people are getting these pink slips, these pink notices, I think we should all be told about companies that provide the services. And I know you can't endorse a company, but if there's any way that you can provide a
And
list
Amy
of
will be
services.
happy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Anybody over here, comments, anybody questions, comments?
Now, I had a question, Barbara McDonald, 73 Valley Road. I live on a corner of 2 dead ends. And I went out on the one dead end, and there's 4 houses on one side, 3 on the others. And the DPW was in the process of painting a crosswalk on Sterling with 7 houses on it. And also a stop block. And they painted half of it because it was drying. And they were in front of my house watching the paint dry, so to speak. They had to wait so then they could do the other side. And my question, I said, well, what's this? And he said, well, we're just told to do it, you know, which I'm sure that was the case. So my question is there something going on in town that, in my view, it's a waste of money? You're talking a tiny dead end that they painted a crosswalk on and a big white stop block that there's never been a problem, never been an accident. And you come down, everyone stops before because it's not a cross
I don't know,
street.
Phil, do you know the answer?
So I can shed some light. I know I had emailed with you some about this, and I spoke to the police chief about it, and then he was gonna speak to the head of the DPW, who was on vacation, and now is back. So I can follow up and see if they have spoken, but, we were trying to
It's a
get to
waste,
the bottom.
it's
I mean,
money,
I don't
when I look at the money, basically, that's it.
And it's a crosswalk.
And we don't need that.
I've seen
We
the
don't need to
DPW,
waste
I've seen
money.
them all over the town, refreshing curbs
Well,
and.
that's fine, but this is not a little tiny
I know.
dead end
Maybe
street.
somebody lives in
It's
Wakefield.
not
That's
specific.
right.
I know there's not some big townwide thing going on, but I will try to find out about that.
Anybody else with a question?
Yeah, Ben Beega, 35 Rock Road. Wanted to just ask, and Amy, I know we've talked to Millicent about this, but what's going on with the library renovation? I know the grants are coming due at the end of the year. Maybe there's some sort of extension, but what's the process of what's going on with the library?
Amy, Laura?
Yep, we're awarding the bid tonight.
So a new construction company's been picked that satisfies the need for that?
Yes,
We
it came in under it came in at an appropriate price.
And we have the money to do
Yes,
all of this?
as it came in, we passed an ordinance about, I don't know, about a month ago that set the limit for what the bids would have to come in at under, in order for us to accept it and award a bid. And, we went out to bid and one of the companies came under that threshold, so we were able to award the bid.
But wasn't that bid subsequently rejected because it didn't?
That was,
Everything's been corrected and.
No, that one, as we had discussed, that one was from a different bid that went through, and because of a technicality, we had to reject that bid and go back out to bid.
Yeah, we rebid the
So
project.
we redid the project, and this is from the new bid, and one came through, thank goodness, so we're able to go and move ahead with it. So, yeah, the elevator project at the library is moving forward.
So how much of the work scope changed? Why did we not have to go through?
The work scope hasn't changed from the last time you saw. The bids went out with the reduction from the last iteration of the design.
The bid documents for the second bid, which
Yes.
were rejected, and this current round of bids,
Were
which
the
we're awarding
same.
tonight, are identical.
Exactly, thank you. Identical, design. So it's everything that you should have had, that was shared with you then from the prior bid with the okay. I'll email you with it, I will.
Yeah,
I'll email
because
you.
the lack of transparency on the library is just unbelievable. There's been, the library director knows absolutely nothing, and I don't even know how this construction project's gonna be managed efficiently, because nobody seems to know what's going on, or disseminating any information to the public at large.
I'm gonna move this along. Okay. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Bill Leonard, 8 Robert Court. Regarding the interim administrator, you talked about the start date. There's an end date in there of October 10th. It's like 8 weeks. Is there any significance to that?
Yes.
Welcome, by the way.
Yeah, probably should have led with that.
Yeah, there is significance to it.
And what would that be?
That would be that we will have a borough administrator, and then we will give it 2 weeks of overlap, so it's good.
So you plan to have one by then? Something's in the process.
Stay tuned. Come to the meeting.
Come to the meeting.
Come to the meeting. It's like, come to the meeting. There's a resolution on for tonight.
Right, but you don't discuss it.
They do, we're always at.
You just pass it, you don't discuss it, that's the problem.
No, that's not true.
That, your
Not true.
resolution is on your consent agenda.
No, it's not. For this person, yes. For the permanent person, no.
Well, as of 10 o'clock last night.
It's on there. So.
Why is it, this whole thing so secretive, really, all these months? What is so secretive about all of this?
There's not a secret, it's out there in the public.
First of all,
To make it as public as possible.
But you're saying you know something now, on October 10th.
And you're not gonna tell us?
And you knew
I
5
just told
weeks
you,
ago.
we're doing a resolution tonight.
We're hiring someone tonight, his start date will be October 1st.
Assuming it passes. I always say assuming it passes.
His start date will be October 1st,
September 29th.
September 29th, because he needs
You
to
didn't say
get
that before, that you were hiring someone October 1st for the full.
Because we're not, it's September 29th. But we have a resolution on tonight that specifies all of that information. It's all written, it's out there.
And he's taking both roles?
No, just.
Okay,
No.
so as of
But
the 10th.
so just ask that, is this, so this is just for the borough administrator? We have not hired a CFO yet.
And as of October 10th, you either have to extend or hire somebody.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, I need a motion to go into close. I need a motion to go into close for 5 minutes.
I'll make that motion.
And then we'll be in a second. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Amy. All right.
We're gonna go into close, so 8 o'clock, we're gonna start the meeting in the big room. I was gonna say, I'm so happy that I got. Hi.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 27th, 2025 public meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glen Rock. The meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was noticed in the Bergen Record and Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, posted on the borough website, and has remained continuously posted as per the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Here.
Councilmember Gilbreth?
Here.
Councilmember Orlick?
Here.
Councilmember Call? Here. Councilmember Rosansky?
Here.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Here.
Okay. Lenore Benjamin, would you lead us in the flag salute this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, I think you'll all notice that the mayor is not here this evening. She is taking care of some very important medical issues, and she is home recovering, and I think we all send her our best wishes for a very speedy recovery. And she might be watching, so we'll give her a little wave out there. Come back to us soon. Okay. It's also a very important evening because this is the last meeting for our longstanding borough administrator and CFO, Lenora Benjamin. Tonight, we're going to manage through our business as usual. We'll go to public comment, and then we will take some time to express our gratitude to Lenora for her wonderful years of service. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All ready.
You ready? All right. All right.
Want to start now?
No, so we're department reports first? Huh?
Sure. Whatever order you want, Council President.
All right, let's take care of departmental reports first. I'm going to start with Amy Martin.
Oh, Mayor.
I'm sorry, do you not want to start first?
No, that's good.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Council President. I don't have much except, are we doing our Lenora things now? During
No.
department, oh, we're going to save that. So Lenora, hold tight. So I just have a couple of announcements for the Friends of the Library. They are working hard to get back start to really engage the community with some great events they have coming up. And I wanted to just mention two of them. One of them's coming up for children. It's Create with Nature at the Arboretum on September 7th from 2 to 4 p.m. And the supplies... they will provide all the supplies, and you can. Nothing's changed.
I told the bakers up here.
It's all good. Create with Nature. Create with Nature. And the second is a fundraiser for the Friends on October 4th. It will be at the GRAC, and it is a taste of Italy, food and wine. You can find more on the Friends of the Library website, website, yeah. Great, that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Martin. I'm going to switch
You
over.
know
Oh,
what? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I did say this we did mention this in our work session, but speaking of the library, I just wanted to alert the public that the long-awaited elevator project has been awarded. The bid has been awarded, and we are thrilled that it will go forward. We have two very big grants that are supporting this project, and we will come in within time to use those grants. And so on behalf of the library board and the residents and everyone who's been anticipating this for a long time, we just wanted to let everyone know that it's going forward.
thank you. Councilmember Orlick?
Thank you, Council President. First, I'd like to extend a big thank you to the Glen Rock Police Department for everything they do to keep us safe. The police department responded to 1,158 calls in the month of July, including security checks, suspicious acts, and motor vehicle stops in a broad range of different types of calls. They're our first line of defense for everything we need to keep our residents safe, and we appreciate everything that they do for us. I also want to thank the police department for organizing our National Night Out, which was a great community event where residents could meet many of our first responders and other community organizations. Kids were able to climb onto fire trucks, ambulances, a SWAT car, and other emergency vehicles, and we all got to see a helicopter landing. The police department recently hired police officers. They recently hired 2 new police officers who are now well into their training and will be able to start patrolling on their own in September or October. They're also in the process of hiring a 3rd officer who will join the police academy shortly and then be able to work here as a police officer. The Glen Rock Environmental Commission is currently conducting a survey of residents' environmental priorities and concerns. So we're encouraging everyone to please respond to the survey so that GREC can decide which issues to focus on, what our residents are most interested in. The survey is up on the website and linked on the weekly email blast, so please look for that. And then on behalf of Stigma Free, I wanted to let everyone know that on Friday, September 12th, from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Village of Ridgewood is offering a free youth mental health first aid training. This is an 8-hour course that teaches how to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health and substance abuse challenges in youth and adolescents. It can be helpful to parents, teachers, anyone who works or interacts with children. And Glen Rock residents are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Orlick. Councilmember Rosansky?
Thank you. All right, so August 18th was National Volunteer Firefighters Recognition Day, and we celebrate them then, but we truly celebrate them every day. I want to thank our firefighters for their dedication and the countless hours that they give to keeping us safe here in Glen Rock. In July, the Glen Rock Fire Department answered 37 alarms, spending 176 hours in service. So far this year, they've responded to 222 alarms, putting in over 1,400 hours on calls, along with 14 drills and 31 extra duties. So that totals more than 1,600 hours of additional training and service. So thank you again for their service on that. And looking ahead, I'm happy to share that the Fairlawn and Glen Rock Fire Departments are now accepting applications for the 7th Annual Citizens Fire Academy. This free 6-week evening program begins on Tuesday, October 7th, and is open to all Fairlawn and Glen Rock residents ages 18 and older. So this gives participants a chance to see what being a fighter is all about, and you get to be issued gear and experience hands-on activities, handling hose lines, entering a smoke-filled environment. So it's all in a safe and controlled setting, but really cool experience. So if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to be a firefighter, check it out. Applications can be found on the Glen Rock Fire Department's Facebook page, and any questions can be directed to fairlawnfirepio@fairlawn.org. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilmember Rosansky. Councilmember Cole?
Thank you. I want to thank the Glen Rock Volunteer Ambulance Corps for responding to 74 calls in July, contributing approximately 231 volunteer hours on calls last month. And as always, we're grateful to the volunteers who give not just their time and expertise, but also their skill and compassion to all of our residents. On the Board of Health front, I just want to let everyone know that as we prepare to install Narcan doses into our AED boxes and distribute Narcan pouches to businesses around the community, there is free Narcan administration training available through a partnership that we have with Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical Center College. You can find the form online. It's free. It's an online course, and once you've completed the course, you'll have a skill that could be potentially life-saving, and you'll also get your own free Narcan kit to have in your home. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Rosenstein?
Thank you, Council President. First, my apologies for being late to the work session. I was attending my son's school orientation this evening. Wishing all of our students all the best as they return to school this fall. The Shack Camp was a great success this year, and our Shack director is hoping to grow the camp in the future. The pool season is winding down, but there's still time to get out there and to enjoy the beautiful weather and the warm water at the pool. Fall sports are beginning to start, and we look forward to another successful fall season for all of our sports groups. Have a good evening, everyone.
Okay. And that leaves me, if I could find my file, which disappeared. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think by now you've probably seen both the news about the water main breaks. Patterson had a major water main break a couple weeks ago, and then Fairlawn had a break, and then we had another one in Patterson. The reason that's very important, and the reason that you're seeing some additional voluntary conservation efforts on our website, is that both Hawthorne and Passaic Valley stopped funneling water to Ridgewood for a time so that they could redirect water to the folks that did not have any water. So whatever efforts that you can all undertake to not water your lawns, which is the biggest user of water, that would be incredibly helpful. And I'm sure as soon as things are in a better place for all of these water main breaks, those pipes will be turned back on again. But in case of one, I say Ridgewood Water, we get about 1 million gallons of water a day from one of those. So these are not insignificant redirections. I think from a humanity perspective, they're entirely appropriate. But water is a scarce resource, and we all have to protect it. It's incumbent on all of us to do that. Okay. And don't forget, irrigation. You have 2 days. Odd numbers are Tuesdays and, no, even numbers are Tuesdays and Saturdays? No. No, odd numbers are Tuesdays and Saturdays. I never water, so I don't pay attention to it. Even numbers are Wednesdays and Sundays. You have 2 days. If you haven't checked your automatic timing on your sprinklers, take a minute and make sure that you have done it. Don't say, oh, my landscaper does it, because they're just going to set it to what they think. Make sure you only have it on your 2 days, please. Community affairs. So we have a senior deck party on September 4th at the pool. Rides will be available for the Glen Rock Shuttle to take folks down there. The last event we had in June, we had 80 residents come. It was really fantastic attendance. And I want to make a commercial here. It's not a community affairs area, but the Glen Rock Pops is going to be playing at the Arboretum, so 2 of our very important organizations in town, on September 27th at 3 o'clock. Georgine, did I get that right? I didn't get it right? 4 o'clock, so it changed. The post I saw said 3. I'm sorry. So September 27th at 4 o'clock, whoever's post it is, get it fixed. So it's 4 o'clock. And this is now, I believe it's going to be how many years, Georgine? 3 years that we've been doing the Pops at the Arb? And so it's really a lovely, lovely event. The Senior Advisory Committee had a successful event on the new PAS-1 form. And this is the form that combines the Senior Freeze, the Anchor Program, and Stay New Jersey. Stay New Jersey is coming in 2026, but instead of having to fill out 3 forms, you can fill out 1 PAS form. You send it into the state either in hard copy paper, or you can fill it out online, and they will select the program or programs that optimize what you get back. So it's really much easier, but we had a number of folks come to the Glen Rock Library. We had Lisa Swain, we had Chris Tully, we had their staffs, and we had our very own Patty Miller from the tax department come and answered a lot of questions for residents. It was a very successful event. But I want to make sure everybody remembers October 31st is the filing date for this form. Send it in, don't miss out an opportunity. And the caps are not as low as you think. For Stay New Jersey, the income cap is $500,000. So if you never thought you qualified, this has a much higher cap. So don't overlook it, okay? I'm not saying you're all qualified. I'm just saying don't overlook it. Make sure you do that. Senior Advisory is also sponsoring a historic Radburn free guided walking tour Sunday, September 7th from 10 to 12. You get yourself to Radburn. We did this 2 years ago, and this is a different part of Radburn. So historians from Fairlawn do this. If you don't know anything about Radburn, it's a historic community, a planned community. It was designed so that children never had to cross the road. Your house had basically no backyard. It looked out on parks. It's a really interesting community, so I commend that. And I just wanted to make a note that the second meeting in September is going to be Thursday, September 25th, not a Wednesday. We moved it because Rosh Hashanah is that week, and so we wanted to make sure we moved it. And so if you're used to coming on Wednesdays, that 1 week you need to come on a Thursday. It's in our calendar correctly, but I just want to point it out because I know we all sort of autopilot our calendars, et cetera. Okay, and that's it. Can I get a motion to accept department reports?
I'll
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilmember Euler?
Yes.
Councilmember Fall?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky? Yes. Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have separated a couple of resolutions. The first resolution that we pulled out is the resolution to appoint a borough administrator. As you likely know, tonight is Lenora Benjamin's, where is she? It's her last night. And so we have been working hard to find, I can't say a replacement because she's not replaceable, but somebody to fill the shoes of borough administrator. So we have that resolution on for tonight. I think you wanted to say a few words?
Yes, thank you, Council President. As you noted at the top of the meeting, the mayor is not able to be present this evening because she's recovering from surgery. She asked me to pass along some sentiments from her, extending her best wishes to the new borough administrator and wishing them all of the success in the world going forward. We also just want to, there's been a little bit of misinformation circulating, just to clarify. The mayor had recused herself from the selection and nomination process. That's reflected in the draft agendas you see tonight. She also withdrew her name from consideration for the post prior to undergoing her surgery in order to be able to focus on her health, and we wish her a very speedy recovery.
Thank you. So before I read the resolution, I'm going to read a statement to give people background and information about our borough administrator. And this is not the Lenora part, this is just about the new one. So as the public is aware, our current long-serving borough administrator, Lenora Benjamin, announced plans to retire this year after 33 years of outstanding professional service to the community and the municipal organization. The mayor and council extend our heartfelt gratitude for her service and wish her a fruitful, fun-filled retirement and great success in the next chapter of her career. As a result of this news, the borough has undertaken a search to fill the position of borough administrator, a pivotal role serving as the chief administrative official of the Glen Rock municipal government. To assist with this process, the Borough Council engaged Jersey Professional Management, a consulting firm specializing in municipal executive recruitment, leadership, development, and coaching. The position was advertised widely. It was posted on the New Jersey League of Municipalities job board, and a more comprehensive brochure about the community and position was developed and distributed through Jersey Professional Management, which reached approximately 2,500 municipal professionals across New Jersey and the Mid-Atlantic region. In response, the borough received over 20 applications for the borough administrator's position, along with 3 additional applications for the chief financial officer position. From this initial pool, the search committee selected 6 candidates for preliminary interviews. Following these first-round interviews, 2 finalists were invited back for in-person interviews with the committee. The recommended finalist was then referred to the full borough council for additional meetings and consideration. In total, the process required about 20 hours of preparation and interviews, reflecting the council's commitment to a thorough and competitive search. Through this process, 1 candidate emerged as the clear choice, Mr. Stephen Neal. Mr. Neal already had a scheduled vacation and could not be with us this evening, otherwise he would have, really enjoyed being here tonight. Mr. Neal brings more than 15 years of distinguished public service and executive level leadership in New Jersey municipal government. This leadership includes 2 years as a borough administrator and 7 as an assistant administrator. The communities in which he served were comparable to Glen Rock. In Waldwick, he was responsible for overseeing municipal operations, budgeting, personnel, and community relations. In Verona, he held key leadership roles, including Director of Administration and Economic Development and Director of Communications for the Borough of Verona. In addition to his municipal positions, Mr. Neal is a volunteer firefighter. His spirit of volunteerism aligns well with the spirit of Glen Rock. Educationally, Mr. Neal holds a Bachelor of Arts in Communications from Penn State University, is a qualified purchasing agent, or QPA for those of you in the know, in the state of New Jersey, and has graduated from the Certified Public Manager program from Rutgers University. Additionally, he has obtained multiple other professional certifications relevant to his position, including the Affordable Housing Professional Certification and the Certified Recycling Professional designations. Okay. Come in. So, right on cue. So I'm going to read the resolution. Okay. If you'll bear with me, I will read the resolution now. This resolution was not included with the consent agenda because it is unique and extremely important to us in the borough. Whereas the Borough of Glen Rock has a need to appoint a borough administrator, and whereas in accordance with Section 4-54 of the Borough Code and NJSA 40A.9-137, appointment to the office of municipal administrator shall be made by the mayor with the advice and consent of the Borough Council. Whereas the mayor has recused herself from the selection and appointment process for the borough administrator, whereas in such circumstances the council president is authorized to act, and whereas the council president has nominated Stephen Neal to serve as borough administrator. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Rock, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey as follows. The recitals hereto are incorporated herein as if set forth at length. Stephen Neal is hereby appointed as Borough Administrator commencing on September 29, 2025, at an annual salary of $170,000, prorated for the period September 29, 2025 through December 31, 2025. This resolution shall take effect immediately. So, Jackie, do I need a motion? Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
I would just like to say that as difficult, incredibly difficult a task this was, I am very enthusiastically voting yes for Mr. Neal. I'm very excited for him to be introduced to all of you and everyone in the community. He is, as everyone knows, Lenora is irreplaceable, but I think that the community will be very happy with Mr. Neal, and so with that, I enthusiastically say yes.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Absolutely yes.
Councilmember Orley?
I agree with everything that Amy said, and I vote yes.
Councilmember Call?
A very enthusiastic yes. Having met him, I know that it's impossible to fill Lenora's shoes, but he gives me great hope for our future.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Also echoing my fellow council members, I also enthusiastically vote yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
I'll echo everything that everybody else said. Although I wasn't part of the search committee, I was really impressed with Mr. Neal and his commitment to professionalism and being nonpartisan and serving the communities that he's involved with. So much as he can't replace Lenora, I think he'll do a bang-up job, so I will vote yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So, and as soon as we're able, as I said, his start date is September 29th. We had to make sure that all the I's were dotted, T's were crossed before we could actually put his name out in the public. And you can imagine what kinds of things have to happen in order to allow somebody's name to be shared. Okay. All right. Next up, we have our consent agenda.
Council President, because there was a request to also remove the resolution which previously is identified on the consent agenda as authorizing the appointment of an interim borough administrator / chief financial officer. I think it would be appropriate to take that matter up at this time. Would you like me to read that resolution into the record prior to a motion?
That'd be great.
So, resolution authorizing the appointment of an interim borough administrator / chief financial officer. Whereas the Borough of Glen Rock has a need to appoint an interim borough administrator / chief financial officer, and whereas in accordance with Section 454 of the Borough Code and NJSA 48:9-137, appointment to the Office of Municipal Administrator shall be made by the mayor with the advice and consent of the Borough Council. Whereas the mayor has recused herself from the selection and appointment process for the interim borough administrator / chief financial officer, and whereas in such circumstance, the council president is authorized to act. Whereas the council president has nominated Donna Molyneux to serve as interim borough administrator and chief financial officer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Glen Rock, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey as follows. 1, the recitals hereto are incorporated herein as set forth at length. 2, Donna Molyneux is hereby appointed as interim borough administrator / chief financial officer on a part-time basis for the period retroactively to August 19, 2025 through October 10th, 2025. Ms. Molyneux shall be compensated at a rate of $105 per hour and shall work no more than 24 hours per week. 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Can I get a motion to accept this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbreth?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Call?
Yes, and welcome.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Move on to the consent agenda, Jack.
All items listed are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Borough Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless the council member so requests it, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, and approval of application and minutes. Resolution 1 is for payment of bills. Resolution 2 is for approval of minutes. Resolution 3 is for an excused absence. Resolution 4 is for National Highway Products. Resolution 5 is for PD office furniture purchase. Resolution 6 is for Chapter 159 Clean Communities. Resolution 7 was just read and pulled separately. Resolution 8 is for the library elevator bid award. Resolution 9 is for a develop agreement for self-storage. Resolution 10 is for attorney appropriation. Resolution 11 is for a release of maintenance bond for 237 Gramercy Place. Resolution 12 is for a conditional offer of employment for a police officer. And Resolution 13 is for a part-time recycling hire.
Can I get a motion to accept the
Council
consent?
President, if I could please request item number 10 be removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration.
Okay.
And just to be clear, reason being I've requested documentation concerning the invoices for services. I haven't received it, so I don't feel that I can vote on this without having that.
Okay. Looking for the item.
To be clear, this is the resolution for attorney
I know,
appropriation.
I'm looking for it. Okay.
So, Madam Council President, I think it would be appropriate to seek a motion for the consent agenda items 1 through 13 minus resolution number 7, which was removed and acted on separately, and resolution number 10.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbreth?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Call?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Can I have a motion for Resolution 10?
I'll make that
Go
motion.
ahead. I'll second it.
If I can make a motion to table resolution number 10 over to the next council meeting so that I have adequate time, as does every other council member, to review any documentation that they so choose.
I'll second that.
So we had a motion and a second with to approve. Do we, considering Councilmember Rosenstein's following motion, do the mover and seconder of the initial motion which wish to withdraw their motion?
Sure.
Okay, so then we have on the table a motion to table resolution number 10. And we have a motion and a second for that.
Who was that against Seth and Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth, sorry. Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbreth?
No.
Councilmember Orlick?
No. Well, no.
Councilmember Call?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Okay, motion to table passes.
Okay. All right, next up, we have ordinance 1949 for final reading. 1949 is an ordinance to authorize a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $100,000 for the preparation of MS4 infrastructure map stormwater management. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone from the public that wants to speak about this particular ordinance and this ordinance only may do so at this time. Seeing and hearing no one, can I get a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, can I get a motion to, oh, all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
All right, can I get a motion to, let's see, read the ordinance?
Motion to introduce?
Introduce, sorry.
For final reading.
Yes.
I'll make a motion for ordinance number 1949 for final reading.
I'll second.
Ordinance of the Borough of Glen Rock in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $100,000 for the preparation of stormwater sewer system map. Be passed upon second and final reading, and that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law by publishing the same by title in the Bergen Record. Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbreth?
Yes.
Councilmember Orlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Cobb?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Rosenstein?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have a few proclamations to read this evening. I'm going to ask our attorney, Jen Credidio, to read one that the mayor has submitted.
Thank you, Council President. It is my pleasure to be able to read this proclamation on behalf of Mayor Marico, a proclamation honoring the retirement of Lenora Benjamin as Borough Administrator and Chief Financial Officer. Whereas Lenora Benjamin, a proud resident of Glen Rock, has served with deep personal commitment and unmatched dedication in her dual roles as Borough Administrator and Chief Financial Officer. And whereas Lenora has led with clarity, purpose, and perseverance, always finding a way no matter the challenge, bringing steady leadership, resourcefulness, and a deep sense of responsibility to every aspect of borough operations. And whereas her work has extended far beyond job titles and duties, Lenora has cultivated an environment within Borough Hall where employees are treated like extended family, fostering mutual respect, collaboration, and genuine care among staff. And whereas Lenora's commitment to excellence in public service, her tireless work ethic, and her heart for this community have left an indelible mark on the Borough of Glen Rock for 33 3/4 years. And whereas her leadership has been instrumental in overseeing key projects, guiding long-term financial planning, and ensuring that Glen Rock's municipal government remains both responsive and resilient. And whereas Lenora's absence will be deeply felt by her colleagues, community members, and all those fortunate enough to have worked alongside her, as she leaves behind not just a well-run borough, but a lasting legacy of integrity. Now, therefore, Christine Marico, Mayor of the Borough of Glen Rock, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, does hereby extend her heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Lenora Benjamin for her extraordinary service, leadership, and love for this community and the employees who work therein. And further, that the Borough of Glen Rock congratulates Lenora on the occasion of her retirement, effective August 27, 2025, and offers its warmest wishes for joy, good health, and new adventures with John, Carly, and Gerald, and Lacey in the years ahead. And further, this proclamation be entered into the official records of the borough, and that a suitably inscribed copy be presented to Lenora Benjamin in recognition of her exceptional contributions and enduring impact on Glen Rock.
Now we have another proclamation from the council.
Borough of Glen Rock, a ceremonial proclamation honoring Lenora Benjamin. Whereas Lenora Benjamin has served the Borough of Glen Rock as Borough Administrator and CFO for the past 33 years, and
whereas during that time, Lenora has provided solid leadership, much more than solid. Who wrote this?
Solider.
The most solid leadership to the borough through all kinds of issues, both big and small. And whereas
Lenora has dedicated her career to the well-being of all the residents of our community, and get down to 4.
Whereas throughout her career, Lenora has provided unwavering support for all employees of the borough, and
whereas Lenora has steered our borough through many challenging years, including those of national financial stress and COVID, and
Whereas Lenora has led the borough through many changes over the years, including the reconstruction of Borough Hall, the turfing of Faber Field, and the hiring of many employees and department heads, and
bring it on down.
whereas the Borough of Glen Rock and all of its residents and employees have been extremely fortunate to benefit from Lenora's leadership for the past 33 years.
therefore, it is the finding of the mayor and council that Lenora Benjamin's years of outstanding service are acknowledged with our gratitude, and
Hopefully it's the last one. And therefore, the mayor and council of the Borough of Glen Rock offer our congratulations for continued success in the next chapter of her life. I have 2 certificates of commendation. One is from the Board of Commissioners, Mary Amoroso, Steve Tonelli, Rafael Marte, Jermaine Ortiz, Joan Voss, Tom Sullivan, and Tracy Zur. In honor and recognition of your retirement after 33 years of dedicated service to the Borough of Glen Rock, on behalf of the nearly 1 million residents of Bergen County, we thank you for your unwavering commitment to our community and offer our best wishes upon your retirement. And from Jim Tedesco, a certificate of commendation in honor and recognition of 34 years. He edged up there. Service to the Borough of Glen Rock and appreciation for your commitment to the residents of Bergen County. Congratulations on your retirements.
Council President, Congressman Gottheimer's representative, Mr. Tui, is also here, if we'd like to invite him to come forward.
Please do. You want to go to the mic, and is it on? Or just make sure it's on.
Unfortunately, Congressman Gottheimer was able to make it here tonight, but he asked me to stand in his stead to present this flag that was flown over the U.S. Capitol in your honor and wish you the best of wishes in the next chapter of your life and retirement, and congratulations, and thank you for the 33 years of service.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to suggest that we do a group shot before anybody gets away. And then we're not done with the meeting yet. I know we haven't closed out, but just to do a group shot, if that's okay. Should we go down here? Okay.
For the celebrate
And then-
sign?
line?
I'm usually never in the
They
picture.
should do one
I
just
never
with
like
the family.
That's very true. We'll do it with our family.
Yeah, first. Yeah, yeah.
You want to do a family shot first? Family shot in the middle?
Family shot, that's.
Family shot with the flowers, with the flowers.
Go in the middle over here.
Should I hold flowers? Sure. Like this?
Not from this side.
I gotta see your face.
Don't get the box on the picture side. Lenore, you gotta lower him a little bit.
Oh, good.
All right, everybody look this way. 1, 2, 3, retirement. Lovely. Lovely. Just made a big mess. Yeah. You'll send those to us? Yeah. All right, everybody come down, please. Can't hold the flowers. Can't hold the flowers, they're very. Right in the middle, Dom. Right here, right there.
In front of my big seal.
Jack, you need to come down.
Yeah, Jackie, you gotta be in this one.
All right, who's on the end over there? Hey, come over here. Come on, somebody come over here. Even it out, the door's in the middle. Let's go. All right. Thank you. Everybody good? No. All right. Ready? Ready.
Thank you.
Is that a good one? All right. Thank you. All right.
You're gonna be picking glitter out of your keyboard for.
Jackie, who's cleaning up?
I think we should just leave it. I think we should leave it. Let's just leave it.
All right. Can I get a motion? I'm sorry, can I get a motion to open public comment? I'm sorry, did you want us to do some? If you like.
Testimonials.
Everybody stand down. We're going to do council comments first. No, no, that's fine. We're a democracy.
All right, well,
So maybe you'll start.
I prepared a little something. that I would
Oh,
like to
please.
say. All right. I know that everyone in Glen Rock appreciates how much Lenora has done over the years for the borough, but I want to say how fortunate I have been to see firsthand some of the things that most residents haven't had reason to see. Lenora is so dedicated to this town. She truly does her best in every situation to look at the big picture, what will be best for our residents, employees, and the long-term interests of the town. She is so professional, never letting her personal feelings or interests get in the way of what is best for the town. She is so knowledgeable, drawing on a very deep well of experience to address every situation that arises. She is so hardworking, always making time to resolve any issue that arises, and often working nights and weekends to ensure that everything goes smoothly. I used to tease Lenora that she wasn't allowed to retire, that we needed her too much here. I stopped that when I realized that she really was considering it, and that she was very concerned about making sure that the borough continued to have strong leadership even after she left. I am very confident that we have hired a great replacement in Steve. But really the best thing I can say about him is that he reminds me a lot of Lenora, and that he has many of the same qualities that she has displayed so consistently over the years. She has set the bar very high. On a personal level, Lenora, I just want to say how much I'm going to miss you, and how much I appreciate all of your help over the years. I'm sure I speak for many council members over the years, and probably many other employees, when I say how much I have valued all of the time you've given me in all of our conversations. There hasn't been any problem too big or too small for me to approach you with. And there have been plenty of days that I've come into your office to ask you a question and have ended up spending hours discussing whatever is going on in town and what we can do about it. I've been so grateful for your guidance and your wisdom, and I'm really going to miss you. That said, I'm wishing you all the best in retirement and with your daughter's wedding. You certainly deserve it.
There's just no words. Nobody can do justice. And what do you say when I always say that you're the best? And that's not an understatement. Lenora's the best. She's the best at what she does. And when I started, the first time I met Lenora in this space was January of 2015. And she has been the most consistent person that you can believe. When she takes this job so seriously and loves everyone who works in this building and in this town and treats everyone with such respect, it's humbling. And it's been, Lenora leads by great example, and she is an inspiration. The list just goes on and on and on. She is so admirable in the way that you have worked, and it has been such an incredible pleasure to work with you. She's so passionate, and I love when she gets feisty, when she really believes in something, and she has the incredible ability to bridge with the council when she really wants to push something and she really wants to make sure you understand that this is really important, and when she knows when to just be quiet and to let us hack it out. And that's an incredible skill, Anyway, we could all go on and on about how brilliant, I know, and I know you don't want to hear it all, but just want to thank you. Thank you for so many things, but most of all for the person you are and the way you've conducted yourself all these years. So thank you.
All right, I know I'm newer on the dais, but in the past couple of months, I've gotten to know Lenora and the wealth of knowledge that she possesses and the care that she shows for every single person in Glen Rock is really admirable. Like, there's nobody who knows more about the inner workings of Glen Rock, the departments. If you have a question, there's so many intelligent people I could go to with a question, but honestly, my first run was to always go to Lenora because I know she would either know the answer immediately or know exactly who to point me to. And as a newer council member, it was just so invaluable to have you here, and we're really going to miss you. I really wish I had more time to work with you, but I am so looking forward to seeing you enjoy your retirement with your beautiful family, and you will be missed, but thank you again for leading us through the search committee for your, first, I've had a wonderful conversation with Steve, and, nobody can replace you, but I think that we are in very good hands with him too. So I thank you for helping us get to this point, and enjoy your retirement. We love you.
So I'll go, Lenora. I have also only been on the council for a short while, but from the day I first walked into this building in December and you gave me the grand tour and introduced me to all of the employees, it was really evident how much you respect and admired all of them, and that the feeling was absolutely mutual. And every meeting, every interaction I've had with you, you've just demonstrated that again and again, how much you care for the employees, and you care for every person in this building and in this town and all the residents. And I really want to thank you for guiding me through my first year here. So good luck to you on your retirement.
Lenora, I just want to say it's been such a pleasure working with you these past few months, and I truly appreciate how passionate you are and the dedication that you bring to this job, and your commitment to Glen Rock and to our residents. And it's just been such a pleasure, and I wish you and your family nothing but the best.
Thank you.
So I first met Lenora not as long ago as Amy, but it was in 2019 when I made my first run for council. And I spent quite a bit of time in Borough Hall because I have questions all day long. And I will say that for me, one of the real marks of a leader is someone who's willing to teach, and Lenora has been that person. She's willing to teach. She has a tremendous amount of patience, and even when you've talked about something and you just can't remember that one fact, she's so willing to bring you back up to speed, etc. She works that way with all of our departments. She works that way with council. She works that way with residents. And I think having that leadership quality and that ability to bring people together to get to the best resolutions for our community will be one of her great legacies. And I do mean that as a legacy, because that's what she is. She's a legacy leader here in Glen Rock. And we will miss her, but I'm also very excited for her to go on to this next stage, because I know what retirement feels like, and it's good. So Lenora, have a wonderful wedding. I know, are you all getting excited? Yeah, okay. I know Lenora is, and we will miss you, but we don't begrudge you any future happiness, and as you walk into the next chapter. So.
Lenora, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to work with you these last couple of years. Lenora is part of a dwindling community, which is the government professional, right? Professional is the first word that you think of when you think of Lenora. She takes this as a vocation, as a calling. She doesn't seek to have credit for anything that goes right. She seeks no credit. Anything that goes wrong, she takes responsibility for it because it's her borough. It's the place that she loves. She is intellectually curious. She wants to know the right answer. She's not remotely performative. It's all about quiet, understated, selfless, and devoted service to the borough that has been so blessed to have her all of these years. Being the BA, she's been the CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization for decades. And I don't think, there are not a lot of people who understand what an incredibly challenging job that is, and Lenora has performed at the truly highest level, and we are all so fortunate to have worked with you and to have a chance to, be your friends. Thanks.
Not for you, Jack?
Oh, Jay.
I'll turn to Lenora after. All right. All right. Can I get a motion to open up to public comment?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Anybody who would like to come to the podium, please feel free. Can you please state your name?
Mary Barchetto, 461 South Maple Avenue. Lenora hates this a lot. Lenora does not like to have a fuss made over her, but is always there to toot everyone else's horn. So you got to sit through it, friend. So when I think of Lenora as borough administrator, the picture in my mind is of a circus plate spinner. And for almost 34 years, she has kept all the various plates in Glen Rock spinning, all the departments, the budget, really everything. And you say to yourself, with that spectacular dexterity, how does she do it all? It's really like a marvel. Lenora has seen this town through it all, from hurricanes to a global pandemic. And the impression may be that government is about politics, but Lenora's message to every new council member and employee is government is first and foremost about providing service to the residents of Glen Rock. Her patience, when we all walk in brand spanking new, thinking we have all the answers, is unparalleled. When she really wants to talk about an idea that we don't know if that's the right thing, I miss it so much. While elected officials come and go, Lenora has been the through line that has kept this town on course, offering wise, objective counsel and a wider perspective. Through all these years, Lenora has barely ever been off the clock, and thank you, John and Carly, for that. I know that was a sacrifice. She has cared for Glen Rock like her own family. If we needed her, she was there. No task too big, such as helping craft a multi-million-dollar budget each year, or too small, like breaking down the chairs after the Memorial Day service. So Lenora, you may be leaving this job, but not this family. Thank you for all you've done for me personally over the years and for this town. You deserve, and we wish you all the best, and I love you.
Christine Parlamas, 113 Berkeley Place, and I'm making these comments as an individual, not part of the Board of Ed. What a great feel-good meeting to come to. This has been so lovely. And I have one more feel-good thing to add to the mix, which is, I'm sorry, Lenora, not about you, but to thank the town council, because I last year contacted the council. I was very concerned about the safety on Prospect Street. It's always a doozy when I'm driving there. It's just, you're always wondering about the pedestrians crossing, and the council at that time told me that, it's a county road, it's a tricky thing. They were working on it. Fast forward to just a few weeks ago, and I had come across this great thing that I thought was fabulous, which was called pedestrian crossing flags. I saw it in Tenafly, and somebody was crossing the street. There's buckets on either side of the street. Somebody grabs a flag, they hold it while they cross, and then they deposit it in the bucket on the other side of the street. Super cheap, $200, very effective. And I wrote a letter to the council asking them to consider it for Prospect Street. And much to my delight, within I think I sent that email at 10:30. Thank you to Councilwoman Cole, she responded right away. And then by 9:45, Chief Ackerman responded to me with this fantastic news, which I know I'm getting old because I was very excited about this news, that there's going to be the rapid fire blinking light crossing added to Prospect and Ackerman, and then one onto Ramus and the pool. So I thank the council. I'm so thrilled about that. And it sounds like there's 2 other crossings being evaluated there on Prospect by the county park and by Coleman, or I forget what the other one was. And I just want to thank the council. If those don't work out, I know that there's an issue with not having possibly enough solar power to generate those lights there, I would have the council maybe consider these little pedestrian flags. I think they're really awesome things. There's 4 other towns in Bergen County that use them, and I think that would be great, rather than if there's nothing else to do, and if it was just it's either nothing or pedestrian flags. And I thank you again for adding to the safety of Prospect. I'm very excited about it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Carr, 231 Hamilton Avenue. Can I have 30 extra seconds? Because Carr Seda, Coughlin, Maureen Coughlin, Rob Seda, and I bought Lenora flowers. As if you did. So we do want to acknowledge your 34, not 39 years of service to this town. I know that I've probably barged in your office a few times, and you have been very welcoming. You've been a wealth of information whenever I've needed it as well. So I'll hand these to you in a minute. But I know I have 3 minutes, so in classic Liz Carr fashion, I do have a couple of statements / questions, because I know you don't really answer them. But I just wanted to address some procedural issues that I've noticed over the last couple of meetings. And I'm really not picking on anybody, but I do want clarification. So I had access to your council handbook, and I noticed that on page 9, and when it referred to the borough attorney is only supposed to speak, and I'm not saying that to be negative, when the borough attorney is addressed yet. In the last couple of meetings, I noticed more so at the work sessions that the borough attorney weighs in her opinion, no matter what. And I'm going to go specifically more so tonight when we were talking about the garage sale ordinance. Her opinion was being weighed, and it wasn't anything to do with the legal advice. So I just wanted to clarify that. The second thing I wanted to clarify is your attendance ordinance on page 35 states that, you know, there is such a thing as an absence, and that's fine, but I also have noticed over the last couple months that council members have called in. Yet I could not find an ordinance, resolution, bylaw, anything where it says that a council member can call in. Call in. My New York's coming out. So I'd like to know where that information is. The other thing I noticed is that your resolutions, again, in your handbook on page 18, it states, and again, I could be wrong, but this is what I'm reading. On page 18, it says that all resolutions shall be posted 24 hours before the meeting. Now, this is a question. It was shared on social media that your original agenda was posted and then re-updated at 10 o'clock last night. So I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know. But if that is true, then wouldn't that be a violation of your 24-hour resolution posting before the meeting? So just something to think about on that. And then the last thing I've noticed around town, which has been a hot topic within the zoning board, is, you know, the houses and all that stuff. But I'm going to take it one step further, and I've reread your tree ordinance. And your tree ordinance says that you can remove trees around your property up to 10 feet beyond the house. But when I'm walking the streets and I'm seeing these newer renovations, and when I say renovations, I mean a complete and utter tear down and new house, I'm not seeing any trees on their property. So I know you do have oh God, I just lost the word, landscape design contingency in your in the ordinance. But nowhere in that landscape ordinance does it say anything about replacing trees. So you have an ordinance that charges $750 to take down a tree that is not deemed dead, but a person can go tear down a house, take down every tree, and not be fined or have to replace it. So I guess I would have proposed those questions to Lenora, but Lenora's not going to be here tomorrow.
You've hit your 3 minutes, Liz.
I know. My question, so here's my real question. Where do I address all these questions to?
Mayor and council.
Put them in the email.
Fabulous. Thank you.
As my boss, we've spent a long time, many years together. Let's see, should we go back to Superstorm Sandy?
Spent a lot of time here.
We did. How about COVID?
Spent a lot of time here.
The many four-day fun fairs? 9/11 services?
Necessary.
And that's a lot of wide-ranging things, even outside of the borough. I have to thank you for having my back, always. Thank you for your open door policy. Thank you for sitting many, many times. Sometimes just to listen. And I could spend an hour, and I think you know that. But as good or nice or adequate or great Mr. Neal may be, he better have awfully, awfully big feet. Because I don't think there's any way he's going to fill those shoes. Thank you for being my friend and somewhat my neighbor. Love you, Lenora.
Thank you.
Thank you for, I'm Rob Seda, 228 Hamilton Avenue. Congratulations, Lenore. I didn't really know you, but fantastic.
Thank you.
It's quite an honor, but thank you. I wanted to take a minute to, I'm going to do a 2.5-minute dog and pony on affordable housing. And my main reason for being up here is to talk about the, every week you put out a bulletin, you know, a weekly update on news. And every time I read the affordable housing update, I'm really concerned that the residents of the town don't really understand the seriousness of this issue. This is a huge issue for our town. And the news, you read about all our surrounding towns and so forth, going through what they're going through. We're in that process also. And the update that you put out stresses very strongly the fact that we do have zeros in our present need, which is the rehab of existing affordable housing units, and a zero requirement for the RDP, the realistic development potential, which, because we have no vacant land, we're not building any new units on vacant land. The big elephant in the room is the prospective need, which means, and we're mandated to build 201 affordable housing units in the next 10 years, okay? Which is an outrageous number, but that's our mandate. And the issue isn't affordable housing. We all think affordable housing is good, and it is good. It enriches our communities, but overdevelopment is the main issue here, and that's what these towns are going crazy over. It's the overdevelopment that results from the fact that we have to build so much affordable housing. And I know we have an overlay zone in town, which is going to take up some of the slack, and we have credits, which will help in that regard too. But the majority of our building is going to be on properties that change hands outside of the center of town. Developers are going to see opportunities. They're going to come in and make proposals, and the normal rate, and we've talked about this before, and the normal ratio is about a 5-to-1 ratio where they build 5 market rate housing units to 1 affordable. We're slated to do 201 units, times 5 is 1,000 units. 1,000 to 1,200 units is what we are going to theoretically end up with within this 10 years. That's 3,000 to 4,000 more people in town. Just give me 30 seconds.
But you hit your 3 minutes.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
but did you clock everybody else who spoke?
Yes, everybody.
All right, what I'd like you to do is take a look at your update, because I'd like you to spend a little bit more time educating the residents of what this issue is really about, okay? And it's not about the zeros in our present need and our realistic development potential. It's about the 201 in the prospective need category, which you outline in your memo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Linda Brennan, 505 Dreamus Avenue, Glen Rock. Lenora, also, I think I congratulated you once, but thank you very much for all your help, especially with the dog park getting approved and our improvements, et cetera. And it was not always easy by getting things through the councils at that time. So thank you very much for the support of the dog park and for everything else you've done. Thank you. So just following on Rob's current statements, it's about transparency. So that, again, I'm not going to reiterate what he said, but I guess I just want some clarification on a follow-up to when Rob had spoken before, and it was Councilwoman Call, and I guess you were speaking for the council. Sometimes I'm not sure because you say it's you or it's part of the council. So I just want to go through the example that you had given on one of your posts. And again, we're talking about overdevelopment here, but just to be clear, I think you gave the theoretical example of in the overlay in 02, a 20-unit building is basically the max. If I don't hear no, then I'll assume that's correct.
Well, this is not.
I wouldn't assume that.
Okay, all right, so I'm just, all right, fine. 20% of which you said must be affordable housing, which means 4 units. And again, I'm quoting right from your statement. 50% must be family. That's 2 units. Assuming that a family has 2 children, that's 4 children. Not the hundreds or even 50, 60 potential addition to the town school, plus everything else we're talking about. So again, we're talking about overdevelopment here, so let's not confuse the issue. So my question is, you gave that example, and very hardly, or tried to beat it in that it's 2 units. So my question, do you understand what my question might be here? What about the other 18 units? They're not allowed to have children? I don't know why it gets lost that what's presented is that we'll only add 2 children to the school. 20 units, 4 must be affordable, only 4 must be affordable, 2 are only mandated to have family. So again, my question is, well, the other 3 people in the units cannot have children? Just a question, and I guess I will write to you separately, or I'll write to Councilwoman, but when I wrote to you last time about another question, I didn't get an answer. So just considering what is the purpose of your comments and why you highlighted that. And it's very similar to when Rob speaks about 0 in all caps in the weekly newsletter. So just let's be a little bit more forthright about what the real issue is here and maybe present it a little bit differently going forward. And we'd like to hear your opinion on it going forward. So thank you very much.
My name is Georgine Betterbed, and I'm here as a volunteer. I've gone through 2 borough administrators, Lenora being the 3rd, and as a volunteer, she's probably one of the most important people I deal with the Friends of the Library, and the POPs. She's helped me through myriads of mazes. She's told me what I couldn't do, how I can get around rules. She's been... she's come out of her office and said, "What are you doing here? What do you want?" She's always shown great respect, great forethought. Lenora, I just With everything everybody has said, I don't think I can come up with anything more, but you're a jewel, dear. And you're going out on a high note. We've had a rather bumpy road getting the elevator going in the library, and she has been, I guess, one of the people at the forefront, she and Amy. And we have our resolution. We have the contractor. Lenora, you can go out on a really high note with that, sweetheart. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bob Blono, are you getting up? All righty. Anybody else?
All right, me.
Good, yeah, okay. I know you do, but I want to make sure they're all done.
Oh, I got my mic. Yeah, I never need a mic. Have I ever needed a mic?
You do now.
No. I don't understand why people can't hear. You got to be loud. You got to be loud and you got to talk. So, I've been thinking about this for months and months, and everyone has said such wonderful things, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And the day is finally here, and I'm very excited. And the first thing I want to do is introduce my family, because they came for a picture, and I didn't introduce my husband of 33 years, who also retired, 30? Yeah, I had to think. 33 years, who also retired today. And we're doing it together, so congratulations to us and to our wonderful daughter, Carly. Everybody knows Carly. Carly grew up in this place. Carly was raised in this place by many loving, wonderful family members that it's beyond words, this place. But my daughter and her fiance Gerard, so very excited that they're getting married in October, and that was one of the driving forces for my retirement. It's the right time, and it gives me an opportunity to enjoy every moment with them, because she's our life and he's our life now too. So we're so fortunate to have such a wonderful family. And I also want to say my family is watching. My mom is watching from Florida, and my brother and sister-in-law and my nephews are watching. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you. So I want to start, I guess, by, again, thanking my staff, my fellow coworkers. And I appreciate your sentiment, Joanne, but I have never been anybody's boss. I have never felt like anybody's boss. These are the people that work together. We've always been a team. We've always pitched in when one is down or one is out. That's what we do here. And it's just, no matter who comes and who goes, and frankly, we come and we stay and we go kicking and screaming. But that's what we do here. We're a family. And so I want to thank Patty and Mary and Bob, you're here, and Joanne, you're here. And I had a wonderful celebration the other day, and with a lot of staff members, and it's exactly the way I would want it to be. They're all so thankful that we've had this opportunity together. And again, I wouldn't be me without them, and this place wouldn't be what it is without them. So I please wish and hope that the councils of today and tomorrow always remember to respect and admire and acknowledge the staff, because they are the ones that make this borough work day in and day out. And I certainly have to especially call out Jackie, because she's my partner in this. We've been doing this together for a very long time. And
that's the way it works when you have people that are your partners and your coworkers, and there's a relationship where we're a team. So I want to give you a just 2-minute background of me for the people that don't know me, because I really have to acknowledge how I got here. So I'm from Boonton. I'm from a municipal family. My father was Director of Public Works for the town of Boonton for many years, and he was really the one that brought me into municipal government. But it was really my parents and how I was raised that made me the person that I am. So I can't thank them enough. And I know that he would be very proud of me today, because one of the last things that I removed from my office is this photo of 20 years ago when I was sworn in with my parents and my daughter and my husband swearing me in 20 years ago. And this is the last thing, one of the last things in my office. And the other very special thing to me in my office is the person that's really responsible for me being here. And that's my dear friend, Bob Freudenrich. 33 years ago, a girl followed an ad online, and it probably wasn't online. It was probably in a newspaper somewhere. That's for sure. I must have called Bob once a week for 3 months to see if I got this job, because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to get, not out of Boonton, but just do something else. And I tell you, it had to have been a dozen calls. And finally, he said to me, out of 50 applicants, I'm going to hire you. So to me, that was definitely my path. And he really was the most instrumental person in developing me. And I knew from the very first moment that he was going to be the one to teach me how to be a leader, to teach me how to deal with people and staff, and how to make a team. And that's what it's all about. So this is the second thing that I've had hanging since this was a sample of his flag. And I keep him dear to my heart every day. And it just made me a better person and a better leader. And I'm overwhelmed, because this is my home. I've had my best days here, and I've had my worst days here. And like I said, I had my daughter here, and she grew up here. In those days, she would walk out of my office, and she would go upstairs, she would go downstairs. I didn't know where she was, but I didn't have to worry about her. She was being taken care of by people that loved her, because they loved me. And you don't get that experience everywhere. You really don't. And I can't be more fortunate. But I also can't be more excited about what's next. Because I look so forward to the wedding, of course, first and foremost, which is in October. And then, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, where we're going to travel and what we're going to do. And again, I want to thank Christine so much, and thank you for your proclamation, and thank you for allowing me to continue to do this job every day that I love in this community that I call home, that I raised my family in, that I just love. And I thank this council, and I thank every other council members, and because again, it's not real common to stay someplace 20 years as an administrator. Really, it isn't. And I'm fortunate that I was able to serve whatever council was at that table. And that was my pleasure, and that was my responsibility. So I thank this council, and I thank every council that I worked for before. Because again, we always were a team, and we always worked together. And I personally am absolutely thrilled at the borough administrator choice. Steve is awesome. I don't think I would be so relaxed if it wasn't for such a great opportunity that the borough has in Steve, and I look so forward to tuning right in to see how you guys are doing. So, but again, enough. It could be an early night tonight, so I appreciate everything so much. I appreciate the flowers, and this is pretty awesome. This is great. And again, just thank you all so much for allowing me to have the best job in the world. I've been so fortunate, and thank you. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you. Yeah. And Donna, thank you so much for coming in and stepping in. I appreciate that too.
You're so welcome.
So Lenora?
Yes.
So, would you like to make the motion to adjourn this meeting?
I would love to make the motion to adjourn this meeting. I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right.
All in favor? Sorry, Jackie. That's yours. No.
Aye.
Aye.
I could do that.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay, all right, all right.
That's right.